The hotel beside Central Park is dressed like a dream, white roses climbing the marble columns, crystal light spilling across the ballroom. Lillian Cole stands in front of the full-length mirror, fingers trembling as she smooths the skirt of her custom gown. 25. The only heir of Cole Group. Raised on private schools, charity galas, and the kind of safety that makes you believe people mean what they say. Tonight is supposed to be simple. Keller Thorne kneels, she says yes, the city applauds their love, and the future locks into place. Her maid of honor, Isabella Petro, had planned every detail. Isabella had been her childhood friend, her sister by choice, the one who cried with her when her parents died and held her hand through the lonely years. Lillian had trusted them both. She had trusted Keller when he said he wanted to build something. She had signed the early funding checks without blinking. She had introduced him to Cole Group clients, opened supply chain doors that would stay shut for men like him, and smiled when he promised he would repay her with loyalty. She hears the MC in the ballroom testing the microphone, she hears the orchestra tuning. And she realizes Keller is still not here. Lillian lifts her phone. No reply. A wedding planner in black rushes past and says, "Ms. Cole, Mr. Thorne is in the executive suite. He said he needed a moment." A moment. On their engagement night. Lillian forces a smile and walks down the private corridor, the carpet muffling her steps. 2 security guards nod, recognizing her face. She is Cole Group. This hotel practically belongs to the family. She reaches the suite door and pauses, hand lifted to knock. A laugh leaks through the gap, soft and intimate. A woman's laugh. Lillian freezes. She leans in, barely breathing. After the ring goes on, it is done. Isabella says, her voice sweet as frosting. The trust, the shares, the real assets. You will finally have it all. Lillian's skin turns to ice. Keller answers, low and amused. Easy. Do not rush. Lillian is the easiest person in New York to guide by the hand. She thinks love is a contract. She signs anything I put in front of her. Isabella makes a pleased sound. And the investment agreements? The ones you had her sign last month. Already filed. Keller says. She does not read. She trusts. When the debt hits, she will not even understand what happened until the bank comes for her. Isabella laughs again. She will cry. She will beg. The princess will finally learn what it is like to be broke. Lillian's throat burns. Her vision blurs. Inside her chest, something shatters with a clean, quiet snap. She pushes the door open. Keller Thorne stands by the couch, shirt unbuttoned, tie loosened. Isabella sits on the armrest, her lipstick smeared, her smile still on her face. For 1 second they stare at Lillian, caught. Then Keller's expression shifts into something cold and calculating, as if he is already deciding what mask to wear. Isabella recovers first. She slides off the armrest and says, "Lillian, wait, it is not what it looks like." Lillian hears her own voice, thin and raw. "What does it look like, Bella? Tell me." Isabella reaches for her hand. Lillian steps back. Keller sighs, annoyed, like a man interrupted mid-deal. "So you heard. Congratulations." Lillian's eyes sting. "Why?" Keller shrugs. "Because I wanted to win. You were the fastest way. Your money, your name, your network. I used it, that is all." She looks at him, searching for something human. She finds nothing. She turns to Isabella. "We grew up together. You called my parents mom and dad. You promised me you would stand beside me." Isabella's smile thins into a blade. "You never understood what it was like, Lil. You had everything. Even after your parents died, you still had money protecting you. You still had a mansion. You still had a future. I had to watch you smile like life was easy." Lillian whispers. "So you took my life." Isabella tilts her head. "I took what you did not deserve." Keller steps closer, voice lazy. "Do not make this dramatic. We can still manage it. The party is full of investors and reporters. You go out there, you smile, you put on the ring. Later we talk terms. You can keep your reputation. We keep the company." Lillian stares at him. She wants to scream. She wants to throw herself at them, claw their faces, make them feel 1% of her pain. Instead, she wipes her tears with the back of her hand. The gesture feels like taking off a costume. She lifts her chin. "No." Keller frowns. "What did you say?" "I said no." Lillian's voice steadies, each word turning into steel. "No to the ring, no to the lie, no to you." Isabella scoffs. "You cannot just cancel. People are here. Then they will learn the truth." Lillian says. Keller's eyes narrow. "You will destroy your own name for a tantrum." Lillian smiles, small and sharp. "You thought my name was yours to spend. You were wrong." She turns and walks out. Behind her, Keller calls. "Lillian, do not be stupid." She does not look back. In the hallway, the planner starts to speak. Lillian lifts one hand. "Stop the party," she says. "Tell the guests there is an emergency. If anyone asks why, tell them Mr. Thorne has been unfaithful and Miss Petro helped him." The planner's mouth drops open. "Ms. Cole, that is. Do it." The planner runs. Lillian moves through the ballroom like a ghost, eyes forward, face calm. People notice. Whispers rise. Cameras lift. She reaches the stage, takes the microphone from the MC, and looks into a sea of faces that once felt like family. "My apologies," she says, voice clear. "Tonight will not continue. I will not become engaged to a man who betrays me in the next room." A gasp ripples through the crowd. Lillian sets the microphone down and walks out, her heels clicking like a countdown. Outside, the city air cuts her lungs. The lights of Manhattan shimmer like they do not care. Lillian stands on the hotel steps and finally lets the tears fall. Then she lifts her head again. "Never again," she whispers to the night. "Never again will anyone take from me like that." The morning headlines are cruel. Cole heiress dumps fiancé at engagement party. 1,000 variations. 1,000 opinions. Keller and Isabella move fast. They have been planning longer than Lillian ever imagined. 2 days after the cancelled party, Lillian receives a notice from a bank she has never visited. The letter says she is personally liable for a loan tied to Thorne Innovations. The number has too many zeros. She walks into the Cole Group legal office, shaking, and hands the papers to the attorney. He reads. His face drains. "Ms. Cole, these signatures are yours. I did not agree to this," she says. "I thought it was an investment, equity. It is structured as a personal guarantee," he says quietly. "If the company defaults, they can come after your assets." Lillian's knees go weak. She leaves the office and calls Keller. He does not answer. She calls Isabella. She hears the cheerful voicemail greeting she recorded for her birthday, like a joke played by the universe. Then the rumors begin. Influencer accounts claim Lillian was drunk and violent at the party. Business blogs suggest she is unstable, reckless, unfit to inherit Cole Group. Anonymous sources accuse her of stealing company funds to finance a lavish lifestyle. Cole Group stock dips. Partners call with cautious voices. Competitors circle like sharks. At the mansion, the staff avoids her eyes. The walls feel colder. 3 weeks later, the sheriff posts a notice on her door. Lien. Freeze. Seizure. Her accounts are locked pending investigation. The company Keller built with her money files a legal motion claiming Lillian mismanaged funds, forcing debt onto the business. The motion is polished, persuasive, full of numbers she does not recognize. She sits on the marble floor in the foyer, papers scattered like dead leaves, and realizes they are trying to make her the villain. A knock comes at the door. Martha Gray steps inside without waiting for permission. She is 45, silver hair pulled into a low knot, eyes sharp, posture straight as a blade. She used to run Cole Group before Lillian was old enough to understand what a board meeting was. Martha sets a bag of groceries on the table and surveys the chaos. "They came for you fast," she says. Lillian swallows. "I did not see it. I did not see any of it." Martha's voice is firm, not unkind. "Because you believed the world was fair, it is not." Lillian presses her hands to her face. "I lost everything. They took my company. They are taking my home. I cannot even pay for a taxi." Martha pulls out a chair and sits. "You did not lose everything. You still have your mind. That is the part they cannot steal unless you hand it over." Lillian looks up. Martha slides a folder across the table. "I pulled the filings on Thorne Innovations. Keller is running it like a man who stole a suit and thinks that makes him a king. The numbers do not add up. There are holes." Lillian's voice cracks. "But the signatures. Signatures can be challenged." Martha taps the folder. "Contracts can be broken if they were obtained by fraud. We need proof." "And until then," Lillian says, bitter. "I am ruined." Martha's eyes hold hers. "Until then, you do not collapse. You rebuild in the quiet. You sharpen your claws." Lillian laughs, broken. "With what money? With what tools?" Martha reaches into her purse and places a small key on the table. "My apartment in Queens," she says. "It is not a mansion. It is safe. You can stay there. And you can start thinking again." Pride flares, then dies. Lillian picks up the key with shaking fingers. That night she leaves the mansion with one suitcase. Outside the gate, a black car pulls up. Keller is in the back seat, perfectly dressed, like nothing happened. He rolls down the window. His smile is polite, almost kind. "Lillian," he says. "You look tired." She stops, spine stiff. "What do you want?" He holds up a document. "An offer. Come back to the company, Publicly apologize for your outburst. Tell the media you called off the engagement due to stress. In exchange, I will delay enforcement on the debt. You can work under me. Executive assistant. You were good at that, supporting me. Her stomach turns. Isabella leans forward beside him, wearing a diamond necklace Lillian recognizes from her own jewelry vault. Isabella's eyes glitter. Do it. Be sensible. You do not have a choice. Lillian stares at them, the two faces she once loved, and feels something strange. Not rage. Not despair. Clarity. She steps closer to the window. Keller's smile grows, sure of his victory. Lillian speaks softly. You are both standing on the edge of a cliff. You just do not know it yet. Keller laughs. Threats. Cute. Lillian straightens. I will not beg. I will not kneel. You will. She turns and walks away. Behind her, Isabella calls. You are nothing without us. Lillian does not look back. In Martha's small apartment, the air smells like coffee and old books. Lillian sits at the kitchen table with a notebook and writes one sentence on the first page. I will take everything back. The first day at a small investment firm in Midtown feels like entering a different universe. No chauffeurs, no private elevators, no assistants smoothing the path. Just a crowded elevator, cheap cologne, and a receptionist who does not know her name. Lillian gives the front desk her resume, stripped of privilege. No Cole Group address. No mention of inheritance. Just education, internships, and her minor in finance that she had once treated like a hobby. The hiring manager is tired and skeptical. Why are you here? You could work anywhere. Lillian meets his gaze. Not anymore. He studies her for a long moment, then hands her a stack of reports. Start with these. If you can survive, we talk. She survives. She learns to make coffee without spilling, to summarize market news in clean bullet points, to sit in meetings and speak only when she has something sharp to offer. At night she takes the subway back to Queens, reads balance sheets until her eyes ache, and studies contract law with Martha's old textbooks. Martha watches her with quiet approval. You are angry. Martha says one night, pouring tea. I am focused. Lillian answers. Martha nods. Good. Anger is heat. Focus is a blade. Weeks become months. Lillian finds patterns other people miss. A shipping company with hidden cash flow. A biotech startup with a patent no one has priced correctly. A real estate fund overexposed to a coming interest rate spike. Her predictions are not luck. They are the result of pain turned into discipline. The firm begins to trust her. A junior analyst calls her Ice Queen, half as a joke, half as awe. Lillian does not correct him. One afternoon the firm attends an industry roundtable on Wall Street. The room is full of men in expensive suits, voices confident, laughter loud. Lillian stands by the window with a glass of sparkling water and watches them. Then a man approaches, mid-30s, calm eyes, understated watch. His presence does not need volume. Elias White. He says, offering his hand. I have seen your notes on the energy sector. They are unusually precise. Lillian takes his hand. Lillian Cole. His eyebrow lifts. Not at the name, but at the calm way she says it, like it no longer owns her. I invested in Thorne Innovations once. Elias says, voice neutral. I withdrew. Lillian's fingers tighten around the glass. Because of the numbers. And because of the man. Elias adds. He's hungry, but not honest. Lillian's mouth curves, bitter. That is one way to describe him. Elias studies her, then says. You know him? I did. Lillian answers. Before he tried to ruin me. Elias does not look surprised. He looks interested. They talk for 15 minutes. It feels like fencing. Questions, answers, subtle shifts, each measuring the other. When she mentions the debt and the forged agreements, Elias's gaze sharpens. Fraud leaves footprints. He says. People like him get sloppy when they think they are safe. Lillian meets his eyes. I need access. Elias nods once. I can open doors. Not for charity. For return. What return? Lillian asks. A partner who sees the market clearly and does not panic when it gets ugly. Elias says. I am tired of funding boys who play king. Lillian holds his gaze. For the first time since the engagement night, something in her chest loosens. Not trust. Not love. Respect. Then invest in me. She says. Elias smiles faintly. I was hoping you would say that. Within weeks, Lillian forms a small investment studio under her own name, backed quietly by Elias and guided by Martha's experience. They rent a modest office with a view of brick walls, not skylines. Lillian does not care. Power is not in the view, it is in the numbers. She builds a client list one meeting at a time. She wins, not with charm, but with results. Her name begins to circulate again, not as a scandal, but as a warning. Lillian Cole is back. Months pass. Lillian stops checking gossip feeds and starts tracking price action instead. She learns the sound of a trading floor, the quiet cruelty of a missed quarter, the way fear hides behind polite emails. One night she opens a box of old engagement gifts and finds Isabella's note that reads, "Sisters forever." Her hands shake. She lights the paper over the kitchen sink and watches it curl into ash. Martha watches from the doorway. "You are not burning your past. I am burning the leash," Lillian says. Martha sets a folder on the table. Inside are wire confirmations and meeting minutes, with one transfer dated during the engagement rehearsal. Lillian points at the timestamp. "They were smiling at me while they moved it." Greed leaves prints. Martha says. "We will follow them." At the next Wall Street roundtable, Elias White finds Lillian again. "I concede your studio," he says, sliding a slim contract across the table. "Enough to start clean." Lillian reads every line. When she signs, she does it slowly, deliberately. Elias nods. "Welcome back to the game." Lillian closes her folder. "I am not back. I am new." Keller Thorne notices in the way predators notice shifts in the wind. He calls Martha first, trying to pry. Martha laughs and hangs up. He sends Isabella to a charity gala where Lillian is expected to attend. Isabella arrives in a red dress, smiling wide, eyes hard. "Lil," she says as if they are still sisters. "Look at you, working again, how brave." Lillian sips her drink. "It is impressive how you can smile while standing in your own smoke." Isabella's smile twitches. "You think you are scary now because you have a little office and some investors." Lillian tilts her head. "I think you are desperate because the money is drying up." Isabella's eyes flash. "You do not know what you are talking about." Lillian leans in, voice low. "Your company is held up by one supply chain contract. It is the only thing keeping your cash flow from collapsing. You are late on payments. Your vendors are nervous. Your auditors are lying for you. It will break." Isabella goes pale for half a second, then recovers. "Even if that is true, you cannot touch it." Lillian smiles. "Watch me." The next morning, Lillian and Elias meet with the owners of a key logistics node that feeds Keller's contract. Elias offers a clean buyout. Lillian offers something better. Stability. The owners accept. Within a month, Lillian controls the lifeline. Keller tries to renegotiate. He tries to threaten. He tries to charm. He fails. When his shipments slow, his customers complain. When his customers leave, his investors panic. When his investors panic, the bank calls. He scrambles to cover the gap with new money, but the market has eyes now. Lillian leaks a portion of the audit report to a reporter she trusts. Not enough to trigger a lawsuit. Enough to raise questions. Fintech darling Thorne Innovations faces accounting concerns. Keller calls her at midnight. She watches the phone ring until it stops, then turns it face down. He comes to her office the next day unannounced, wearing the same confident suit he wore the night he tried to buy her dignity. The receptionist tells Lillian he is here. "Let him in," she says. Keller walks into her office and stops. The room is simple. The desk is clean. The walls hold no art. The only decoration is a framed photo of Lillian's parents, placed beside a stack of legal binders. His gaze flicks to the binders. "You are really doing this," he says, voice tight. "You are trying to destroy me." Lillian sits. "You destroyed yourself. I am just removing the mask." He steps closer. "I made mistakes. I was under pressure. I was ambitious." She laughs once, without humor. "You slept with my best friend while wearing a ring you asked me to buy. Then you tried to steal my inheritance and make me carry your debt. Do not call that ambition." Keller's jaw clenches. "What do you want?" Lillian slides a document across the desk. Keller looks down. His face changes as he reads. "Restitution. Transfer of illegally moved assets. Public statement admitting wrongdoing. Cooperation with a full forensic audit. You want me to confess," he says, voice hoarse. "I want you to return what you stole," Lillian says. "And I want the world to know what you are." Keller lifts his eyes, anger and fear battling in them. "If I sign this, I lose everything." Lillian leans back. "If you do not, you go to prison. Choose." For a long moment, Keller looks like he might lunge across the desk, then his shoulders sag. He picks up the pen with trembling fingers and signs. Lillian watches the ink dry. Keller stands, eyes burning. "You think this will make you feel better?" "It already did," Lillian says. He leaves without another word. In the lobby, Isabella is waiting, pacing like a trapped animal. Keller does not even look at her. When the elevator doors close, Isabella turns on Lillian, voice shaking. You ruined us. Lillian's gaze is calm. No, I corrected you. Keller fights back with rumors and pressure. A client cancels a meeting after receiving an anonymous call warning that Lillian is under investigation. Lillian responds with paperwork, not panic. Her attorney sends letters. 2 posts vanish overnight. Then she visits one of Keller's key vendors with a spreadsheet and coffee. He is using your patience as credit, she says. His cash burn is here. It will not clear next quarter. The vendor stares at the numbers, jaw tightening. Within days he quietly shifts contracts away from Keller. Late one night, Keller waits outside Martha's building, trying to look charming. We need to talk like adults, he says. Lillian stops under the streetlight. Adults do not steal and then ask for conversation. She meets his gaze. This is not revenge. This is consequences. Keller's smile fades. For the first time, he looks scared. Keller and Isabella do not know how to lose quietly. They plan one last scam, a fake foreign investment deal with glossy brochures and forged letters of intent. They hope to raise a final round, pull the money, vanish. Lillian learns the plan from a former employee who comes to her office with red eyes and trembling hands. I did not know what they were doing at first, he says. But now they are talking about leaving the country. They are using my name on documents. Please, I do not want to go down with them. Lillian listens, expression unreadable. When he finishes, she says, you did the right thing coming here. She makes calls. Elias moves quietly. Martha contacts an investigator she trusts. They do not rush. A trap works best when the prey believes the door is still open. The annual New York Finance Summit arrives in early winter, hosted in a glass tower overlooking the Hudson. Cameras, reporters, investors. A perfect stage. Keller and Isabella appear on the guest list, dressed like royalty, smiling at the press. They talk about innovation, resilience, vision. Lillian watches from the balcony, her own suit tailored in dark navy, hair pulled back, expression calm. Elias stands beside her. You sure you want to do it here? Lillian answers. They wanted the spotlight, let them choke in it. When Keller takes the stage to pitch the fake deal, the crowd listens. He is good at performance. He always has been. He gestures to slides. He speaks of markets and opportunity. Isabella stands in the front row, smiling like a proud partner. Then Keller says, we are ready to sign a strategic agreement today in front of all of you. This is the future. Applause starts. Lillian steps forward. She walks down the stairs, each step steady, and reaches the aisle. A security guard starts to stop her. Elias murmurs something and shows a badge. The guard hesitates and lets her pass. Lillian reaches the stage. Keller's smile falters. His eyes widen. For 1 second he looks like a man seeing a ghost. Lillian, he says, forcing warmth. This is not the time. It is exactly the time. Lillian says. She turns to the moderator, takes the microphone and faces the room. Good evening, she says. Before anyone signs anything, I would like to share information that every investor here deserves to know. Keller steps toward her, voice low. Do not. Lillian does not look at him. The screens behind her flicker, then change. Bank records. Contract signatures. A forensic timeline showing asset transfers. Audio clips, edited to comply with legal rules, clear enough to show intent. Keller's voice echoes through the hall. She signs anything I put in front of her. Isabella's voice follows. The princess will finally learn what it is like to be broke. Gasps. Shouts. Phones lifted to record. The moderator stares, frozen. Lillian continues, voice even. These documents show fraud. These recordings show conspiracy. This summit is not a stage for criminals to lure victims. A man in the front row stands, furious. You took my money last year. You promised audited statements. Another investor rises. You told us the numbers were clean. Keller tries to speak, but his voice cracks. This is manipulation. She is bitter. She is lying. Isabella pushes forward, eyes wild. It is fake. She is framing us. Lillian lifts one hand. Martha walks onto the stage with a calm expression, carrying a thick binder. Behind Martha, 2 former employees and an attorney follow. Martha speaks into the second microphone. I am Martha Gray, former CEO of Cole Group. I am also the person who filed the criminal complaint this morning. The room explodes with noise. Security moves in. Keller's face turns gray. He tries to step back, but 2 guards close in. Isabella screams, grabbing at Keller's arm. Do something. Say something. Keller jerks away like she is poison. Reporters surge forward. Cameras flash. Lillian watches Keller and Isabella being escorted off the stage, their perfect masks cracking in front of the entire industry. As Keller passes her, his eyes meet hers. There is hate, there is fear. And there is something else, regret, too late to matter. He whispers, "I could have had everything." Lillian answers softly, "You did. You just did not know how to hold it without crushing it." They take him away. Isabella collapses to her knees on the carpet, sobbing, her voice breaking into raw pleading sounds. For the first time, Lillian feels nothing at all. Not joy, not vengeance, just an empty, clean space where pain used to live. The court process is not glamorous. It is paperwork, testimonies, long hours in rooms that smell like old wood and stale coffee. But the truth is sturdy. Keller and Isabella are charged with fraud, conspiracy, and theft. The restitution agreement Keller signed becomes part of the record, impossible to explain away. Their assets are frozen, their accounts seized, their luxury life evaporates overnight. Cole Group stock stabilizes as the board and the market realize Lillian was not the reckless scandal the rumors painted. She was the target. With Martha's guidance, Lillian restructures the company, replaces compromised advisors, and installs new controls that make it harder for anyone to exploit her again. She merges her investment studio into a new division under Cole Group, turning her private revenge machine into a public engine of growth. Elias remains a key investor. Their partnership is quiet, steady, built on respect and aligned interests. At a charity banquet in spring, Lillian stands at the podium in a black dress that feels like armor and freedom at once. The room is full of people who once whispered about her, people who doubted her, people who thought she would break. She looks out and smiles, not sweet, not naive. Honest. "I used to believe love and friendship were the center of my world," she says. "I learned the hard way that some people call you family while counting what they can steal." The room is silent. "But I also learned something else," she continues. "When you lose what you thought protected you, you discover what you are made of. And if you choose to stand up, you can build a life that no one can take." Applause rises, then grows. Martha watches from the front row, eyes bright. Elias lifts his glass in a small salute. After the speech, Lillian steps onto the balcony, looking at the city lights. The wind is cool. The river below catches the glow like scattered coins. Martha joins her. "You did it," Martha says. Lillian shakes her head gently. "I started it. I will keep going." Martha smiles. That is the difference. The old Lillian thought the story ended at happily ever after. This Lillian knows it begins when you stop waiting for someone to save you. Lillian rests her hands on the railing. In her mind, she sees the engagement suite again, the door opening, the betrayal like a blade. She feels no pain. Only memory. She turns to Martha. "Do you know what I want now?" Martha raises an eyebrow. "Tell me." Lillian's smile is quiet and fierce. "I want to make sure the next girl like me does not have to bleed to learn the same lesson." Martha nods, satisfied. "Then we build that too." Behind them, the city keeps moving, endless and bright. Lillian Cole watches it and feels something she has not felt in a long time. Peace. Not the soft peace of ignorance, the hard peace of a crown she built with her own hands. In a conference room weeks later, Keller finally says the word in front of the record. Yes. He admits he transferred assets. He admits he knew the agreements were fraud. Isabella tries to blame him, voice breaking, but the truth is already locked in. Outside the courthouse, a reporter asks Lillian, "Do you feel satisfied?" Lillian answers, "I feel free." She returns to the Cole mansion and walks through the foyer without flinching. Then she meets the board and sets one rule. "My kindness is not weakness," she says. "Test it again and you will lose more than money." On a Sunday, she visits a youth finance program funded by Cole Group. She writes 3 words on the whiteboard. Read. Ask. Verify. A teen girl whispers. "Do people like us really win?" Lillian smiles, quiet and firm. "You win when you stop handing your power away."
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.